kill how many people and nobody prosecutes you. He has to get a hand on security. There are a lot of kidnappings in the country now going around, particularly in the southeastern part of the country. Okay? He has to get a handle on that because that threatens not only the security of the country, but also
individuals.
Exactly, individuals and business investments and all that. People can't go and invest when they know you are subject to being kidnapped. Okay? That's very important. We had what happened in December, you know, Motalab, the attempted airline this thing. He has to get a handle on who is who and who is doing what. So that's important. 2, electricity. He must get a handle on that. Currently, the country produces about 37 megawatts of electricity, 37,000 megawatts, which is nothing. The state of Tennessee produces more than that. The state of Arkansas produces more than that.
Then the whole country of
Nigeria. Then the whole country of 150 million. Okay? The city of Los Angeles produces more than that. The city of New York produces more than that. The city of Detroit produces more than that. The city of Chicago produces more than that. Okay? So that must be dealt with. There's no way the country can move forward or industrialize without adequate and constant electric power supply. Yes. These things were there before. Even when the colonial masters left, they had a nice electric grid. And that must be done. Otherwise, people will feel that he's a failure. Okay, at least he must set the mechanism to make sure that that is enforced. Healthcare, that must be dealt with. There's no reason why a president of a powerful, rich country like this of 150 million should be disgracing everybody every time by running outside the country for medical care when the country has the financial resources and the human resources to take care of that. There's no need at all for the governors to be running around everywhere like grasshoppers, going to clinics whenever they're sick, and they have the resources to do that. That must be tackled. And not only that, the question of electoral reform. Okay, himself has said it. There's no need for the country to be every time having elections nobody considers credible. Even the one that brought him to power, he knew it wasn't credible in the 2000 election. And so the first thing he has to do is, approve some electoral reforms that have already been submitted to him. Number one, something like having independent candidates. Right now, they don't have it doesn't allow for independent candidates. They have to have that so that the political parties don't, grab all the political power for themselves. People have to choose if they want an independent or not. But to begin with, he must get rid of the current chairman of the Electoral Commission. In fact, the United States had asked for that through Johnny Carson, who is the Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs, who has called for him to remove the current chairman of the Electoral Commission, Mr. Maurice Iwu. And he has to do that in order for people to feel that there will be credible elections in 2011. If he doesn't do that, people will not have hope that that election is going to be fair and free.
Well, Dr. Madu, over the last minute and a half that we have here, what's the hope in reference to some kind of resolution within the next minute? How do you resolve this?
Well, I think once Jonathan appoints his own ministers now, a lot of people think Yar'Adua won't come back again, as president. But then, from what we've read before, when he was governor, he was absent for 6 months. And came back again. Okay.
This is a sad situation.
That's correct.
A sad ending to this discussion here, Dr. Madu, because it seems that, and this is Nigeria, one of the largest country in Africa.
That's correct.
One of the great democratic leaders in Africa. As a matter of fact, we've talked to you about democracy in Nigeria and et cetera. And that's turning out to be something that we can, and we don't do it to scorn, but we do it primarily because the humor of it all and the unbelievability of it all. That something like this could happen to 150-odd million people.
That's correct.
And I think that the international community somebody ought to be able to say something about this, Dr. Madu.
That's correct.
Well, anyway, but let me thank our audience for tuning in this morning, and let me encourage you to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.